Welcome to Sister Sessions, a podcast where two sisters on very different journeys explore what it means to live spiritually in today's world. My sister, Jenny Fairbank, is the co-founder and spiritual director of Wisdom Pathways, a yoga and meditation teacher, and a somatic healer devoted to guiding others toward inner peace. And I'm Susie Gustin, a mom of three, producer and owner of Red City Live Entertainment, embracing life's joys while searching for deeper meaning. Together, we have honest, relatable conversations about finding balance, purpose, and connection in everyday life. So settle in. You are exactly where you need to be. Welcome to Sister Sessions. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sister Sessions podcast, where we get divine and real. I am Susie Gustin, and I am here with my sister and co-host, Jenny Fairbank.
Hello.
Hello, Jenny. So today we're diving into a conversation that blends play, ritual, and the sacred woven right into the everyday. Our guest is someone who radiates magic and grounded wisdom. She's a ceremonialist, embodiment guide, and community weaver who reminds us that spirituality doesn't have to live on a mountaintop or in a temple. It can live in our laughter, our breath, and our dance. Our special guest leads Reverently, Playful, a stunning embodiment series that explores feminine archetypes through ritual, breathwork, costuming, and dance, creating spaces for women to gather, move, and reconnect with their deepest essence. She also created the Initiated Teen program, helping young people remember their own sacred rites of passage so they can grow into their fullness with heart and guidance. A dear friend of Jenny's and someone I'm really excited to get to know more deeply, let's open the Sister Sessions circle and welcome Christina Regante. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I just love what you ladies are doing, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. So thank you.
Yes, we're so excited that you're here. And as I mentioned, Jenny and Christina are not strangers. They are dear friends. So I also love to open up and find out. Like, I'll start, Christina, with you here. What drew your energy and Jenny's energy together? How did this friendship start?
Well, to be honest, like, how can you not notice Jenny? So we had a friend who was hosting drum circles, and I saw Jenny at one of those, and just her joy, how happy she is when she's drumming and dancing around, and like she was just so vibrant. And that's when I first was like, ooh, I think I would like to know this person. And then just life happened. And then I was hosting this virtual container for women I call the Mandala, and asked Jenny to join. And during that time together, I think our friendship just really blossomed. And yeah, she's a dear, dear, precious part of my heart now. So.
Oh, I love that so much. And so you talk a lot about ceremony and embodiment. Can you talk to our listeners about that and how about your work? If someone said, what do you do? Can you give us a description of how that is incorporated?
Yeah, it's an evolving process because, that question, what do you do, always challenges me and triggers me a little bit, because the truth of what I do is my main work is being a mother. And I feel like that so often gets pushed aside, like, no, but what do you do? And what I do is I make humans and I raise them with a lot of love and intention. So like, I always feel it's really important to put that first, because that is first to me. But I have had a deep curiosity, calling, passion, fascination with the occult since I was in my teens. And I remember I really believe I manifested my first car I was reading books about Wicca back then and like this visualization process. And I just saw my car and I saw me driving my car and like I got exactly that car. And so I have been working with ritual in a very, I don't know, intuitive, just free form way for most of my life. I even chose to marry my husband. And this was before, I've been a seeker and curious and sat with this amazing man, Sharmaji in Key West for several years, who led meditations and stuff, but just always kind of dabbling. But I was drawn to plan my wedding on the vernal equinox, the spring equinox, because it's such a point of balance. And so my husband and I, on our anniversary, because it's the balancing of the feminine and the masculine, and a beginning of the zodiac calendar. So again, I'm like always bringing in ritual. We sit down every year and we discuss the past year and what we are letting go of, what we are completing, and then we put intention on what we're calling in for the next year. And so, just it started very informal as just a way of life. It's just how I live life. And I love it so much. Like, I remember one year, last year probably, for my birthday, I'm like doing like 5 rituals all I just love it. I love working with the elements. I love bringing intention into how we live life. I feel that the more intentional we are with our life, the more that we become the conscious creator of our life. And yeah, I just love it. So I try to bring it everywhere and anywhere I can and share it as much as I can. So
I love that. And I'm obsessed with all of the wording that describes everything that you do, like dance and play and like it just sounds like such an amazing way to live. And how do you incorporate all of that, all of your practices? Do you incorporate that into your daily family life? Is there something that you guys do as a family, maybe once a month or daily or
I wish daily, but like my husband is a normal man. I'm a teenager and like their mom's a little a little woo sometimes, but they are growing up in it and it becomes more and more a rich part of our life. And so we do family rituals together for sure. They're more spontaneous and a big part of my work, and this will tie in with what you're talking about, the playful part, is really one, connecting people to the elements through this intention and ritual, but also connecting people to the cycle of the seasons, the wheel of time. And to me, it just brings so much understanding around life and about how we move through things, and that we're not meant to be like spring and sunshine all the time, that it's okay to like go within, have quiet moments, like trim your branches, all the things. Like it brings this wholeness. And that's really what I think a big part of my passion is to bring wholeness back to being human. And so slowly over time, I've been connecting into the Celtic holidays, Samhain and Imbolc and Beltane and these things. And so that's where we really do a lot of family ritual, and it's really beautiful. We'll like plant gardens of light with our intentions and have dinner by candlelight, and we'll make monkey bread. It's this bread, and you take the raisins and you put your intention for the upcoming year into the raisin and stick it in the bread, and then we bake this family bread and we share
oh,
each other's
that's so cool.
stuff. So it's just really kind of infused into life and less of like this, we're going to do this big thing,
It's just who
like,
you are and it's in everything you do.
right.
Basically is what you're saying. Yeah,
It,
yeah.
it has become.
Yes.
As
So
being
yeah, go ahead, Jenny.
a witness to some of this,
Yeah.
an outsider in Christina's life once in a while when I pop into her world, I can see, especially in her children's faces, the awe that I feel them when they witness Christina, because Christina is a natural mystic, and and especially her daughter, because I've seen it so very many times. I've never really shared this with you, but I watch it and she's just like she's in awe of you, and you do rituals so naturally and with ease, and she's learning that is who she is too. And I'm sure your boys as well, but as a mother daughter, there's a difference there. There's a different kind of energy.
So
And
you've
you,
witnessed Christina in ceremony with her children witnessing her. Is that what you're saying?
yes,
Ah,
yeah, yes. And in every gathering, it's just a natural thing that there's going to be something that comes with, you know, and even my husband has made comments, oh yeah, I forgot we're going to be doing something like that. Like when we've gone over to their house, like just be used to it. If you're going to be at Christina's, there's going to be something. And that is so incredibly beautiful to witness, and to see a family be that naturally and not having to try. It's just the natural process of you, and your family definitely eats it up. Even if they don't show it to you, they love it.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for that
True.
reflection. Yeah, they do. I think over the years, it's just become, like I said, it's a part of life now, and it's not so weird. It's just what we do. Mom's going to put some tobacco in your hand and go ask you to talk to some plants and tell them thank you. Like it's
Yeah.
just yeah, really become a part of life, which is, again, I feel like I've kind of got these, like, I don't know, the word micro missions comes to mind, and they're very subtle. Like I feel that people are much more receptive whenever it's not like I'm teaching you this, we're doing this. It's just like it just becomes a part of what we're doing, right? Like, and yeah, I just really like want people to understand, to remove all the blockages. I feel like religion, and especially now that we're like dabbling in all these different lineages, and there's still a lot that we're working through with the people, the carriers of these lineages that have been protecting this wisdom for so long. And so that balance of like, are we receiving or are we taking? Right. So, and, and trying to walk with respect and to receive and to work with these lineages and wisdom with respect. With all of that, there's a lot of eggshells and a lot of like barriers, I feel like, that people perceive when it comes to doing any kind of occult practice, like working with ritual or elements or these kinds of things. And so I just really want to show people that ultimately it's your heart, your intention, and that if you come from a place of innocence and just curiosity and love, there are no rules. There is no, don't say you're doing some other indigenous thing, whatever. You're just offering your heart and your prayers and being present to what is in your life. And really, a big one for me is the reciprocity, the giving back. We're so used to manifesting, calling in, doing this, right? And so a big part of what I love doing is these communal rituals where we're creating these earth mandalas out of flowers and seeds and leaves and just, all these things. And we're creating this collective, beautiful creation of art that is an offering of our prayers, of our gratitude for everything that is supporting us on our path, all the people, the elements, the water, the air, the earth, the food, the unseen forces, like everything, like to give back. So one, taking away all the barriers and the rules around it, and two, reminding people that it's so important to make sure that you're also in reciprocity and you're giving back with
yeah.
your love and your heart. So
Yeah.
I am I am already like fascinated, and I will tell you why. because you are very unique. And the first guest that I can say that just right off the bat, just, can you explain what you do to our listeners, right? And most people just bop, 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 right? You are not like I do. You are, I am.
Right.
I am. And you are. Like you are. Like it's breathtaking to listen to you and feel your energy because you literally are like I am. And it's really, really beautiful. And a question that I have not asked any of our guests yet, and I think it's perfect for you, is what is in the world that we're living in now, there's chaos and divide and all of that. What is your hope right now at this time for the spiritual community?
For the spiritual community.
Yeah.
I think to me, and it extends beyond the spiritual community, I actually just made a really big prayer. All these things, like my life is always this big, wild, mystical journey of wild things happening. And recently we stopped on a roadside. I have to tell stories. I'm a storyteller.
Yes.
I don't even know how to
We love the stories. Tell us.
We were driving back from Florida and there's a battleship in Mobile, Alabama, and we were ready to get out of the car. So we stopped there. We're walking around. It's a war memorial. And I see this B-52 giant airplane. And I tell the kids, oh, my grandfather flew this kind of airplane. And we're looking at it. And my husband looks up and he's like, isn't that his name on the airplane? And I'm like, what? This is the actual plane that my grandfather flew during the Vietnam War.
What?
I had no idea that we were going to this, that it was at this memorial, any of this. And I see all the bombs that he's dropped, and my mind is trying to reconcile like this man who's like bombing everything and in war with the same man who's like my grandfather that taught me to ride horses, all these things. So there's a lot moving in me. And this whole prayer, as I'm processing war, became like, we can't just ask for peace. It's unrealistic, right? Like we have so far between where we are and that. So my prayer, my hope for all of humanity is really tolerance. That we can look at another human and we can see their humanness. That what they really seek is a safe place for their kids, good food, a sense of safety. Everybody just wants to be loved and feel safe. And we're all seeking that in different ways. And we all have different paths in our heart that lead us to God. And so whether it's the spiritual community, because I even see a lot of intolerance in the spiritual community and all of humanity, it is, I think even acceptance is ultimately what I would love to see. But until we get there, just tolerance. To be able to tolerate the fact that other people have other paths and to just allow that without taking it on as an assault and a confrontation to your own beliefs and your own life and journey. So that is really what I hope for everyone, because even in the spiritual community, there can be a lot of righteousness of like, you're abusing these things, you're doing it wrong, you're causing damage with what you're doing. There is a lot of, and granted, we have people working with indigenous medicines that haven't healed themselves enough and probably should not be offering it to other people.
Yeah.
These are real things out there happening. But I always come back to this place that's like, yes, but the people that come to those people, that's what they're ready for. That's what they're seeking. That's what their path is needing. So tolerance, like pray that that person who may not be working with the highest level of integrity learns, that they receive the lessons that are going to allow them to go deeper into their medicine and into their ability to offer it with integrity. But if we're just judging everyone and like casting blame and all that, we're just perpetuating the same stuff that creates war.
Yeah.
So
When
So
you
true.
say, I love that. When you say pray and you're in prayer, where is your intention set to? I know, like for example, Jenny loves to use the divine source. That's her favorite. Like I'm praying to the divine source. Do you have a specific something that you address in that way?
you know, I honestly, it is in many ways nameless to me. Great Spirit, Spirit is just kind of a very general name, Spirit. But it is, the connection is to the essence of creation. Some call it the great central sun. It's this blinding, overwhelming, penetrating light of love. And yeah, so ultimately that's it. But I don't know that I'm praying to that. I think I'm always praying for stuff rather than to something.
Yeah.
And that's where the ritual comes in, is I kind of joke that I pray in stones and flowers. And so like, even I have one right here and it's stones and flowers. And it's, I think there's so much that happens when we take our internal process and we externalize it. And we not just we make something beautiful with it. It becomes an offering. And so when I pray for something, I always am creating something, usually involving stones and flowers. And I am praying for something. I'm praying for humanity. I'm praying for my family. I'm praying for my friends. So I guess I spend a lot less praying to something
I love
and
that.
more for things, for the women, I'm very into like supporting the women, finding their empowerment and their wholeness. So
Would you be able to share some little maybe ideas for people who might be curious about bringing more ritual into their life or ceremony? Like if someone's just getting started, what would you suggest for somebody who's interested in doing that more?
I would suggest keep it really simple. I
Mm-hmm.
remember one of my first time sharing ritual with other women is we were around a fire and it was very spontaneous. And I said, everybody grab a stick. Just grab a stick. What do you want to let go of? Put it, like, know that the physical things can embody your intention. I'm taking this thing that I'm carrying and I'm going to put it in this stick. And I'm going to offer it to the fire and ask the fire to assist me in transmuting that energy. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It's so simple. Literally, some of my rituals are scooping dirt off of the ground, putting my intention there, and saying, Mama Earth, please help me. Use your powers of like compost and your ability to like break everything down and return it to something that is nutrient and loving. Like, help me with this. And so that I think would be my main guidance of where to start, is just keep it super simple and playful. Like, be curious. The elements are so powerful and they're so ready and willing to help us with our process, whether it's drinking a cup of water and saying, putting your intention, please nourish me, help me to feel whole today. Please help me feel grounded. Whatever I'm needing, I'm like putting that intention in the water and asking it to support me. And water is so loving, so nourishing. She is the thing that nourishes all of life to grow and thrive on the earth. And so she's so happy to receive. It's like, they're like these blank canvases. They're just ready. Like, how can I help you?
Yeah.
And so, connecting with the elements with curiosity and just simplicity.
Were you always comfortable sharing that? Like, how young do you remember not being afraid to speak your truth and talk like this?
This is an ongoing evolution. It's interesting because, you know, I shared my ritual with my husband 20 years ago, you know, like to do this burn ritual and stuff. So I think with the people close to me, I've always felt very comfortable about that. Stepping into my truth in a bigger context and framework is a journey. And I have come a very long way in the last few years because there's a lot of conditioning out there, and this may just be my journey, but there's a lot of conditioning that says you shouldn't be that. You shouldn't do that. When somebody asks you how you're doing, you should just say, "Oh, I'm great. Thanks for asking." Or, "How are you? Isn't that the right thing?" Like, I don't even ask that anymore because I think it's such a insincere question most of the time. So I just say, "Good, thank you," if it's a grocery store person. But I don't seem to have the ability to just say, "Oh, I'm fine. It's great. Thanks." While my house is burning behind me. So I have found myself until I have now found such an incredible group of people around me to where I feel super safe being myself. But because I don't seem to have the same filter that a lot of people do, a lot of people are like, "Oh, wow. Okay."
We need more of that. We need more of that in the world, you know?
Well, Christina, it's really funny. It's really funny you said that about the "how are you" thing, because just yesterday, my husband and I were walking out of the grocery store. He just had shoulder surgery. He's in a lot of pain. He's in a big arm sling, and this guy that was younger, and my husband works out avidly, okay, all the time, but he hasn't been able to work out for 2 months. And this guy that's younger than him and big and like muscles everywhere, he looks at Reed and he goes, "How you doing?" And we walk by and Reed's like, "What does he mean, how am I doing? Does he see how I'm doing? Why did he see how I'm it was just one of those, it was just the timing, and it was just funny. And then you just said that. I'm like, yeah, people just say it, just rolls off their tongue. They don't think first, you know.
They don't actually want to know how you're doing.
Right. And step walking. Right.
Right. So I love and hate that question.
Yeah. So that's patterning we've all embodied, and it's a habit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
there are so many questions. Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead. Do you have a question? Go. Shoot it, Jenny.
I have a lot of questions because what I would first I would like for you to share, Christina, a little bit about your journey with the moon dance, how that began for you, what that's like for you now, your whole evolution of that, how you found it, how it came into your life. Yeah, if you would.
Okay. Yeah, that's great, because I think there was a question Susie asked about the playful and the dance and all of that. And I feel that I couldn't answer that question until we got to this part.
Yeah.
So,
gotcha.
Yeah, when I heard the word moon dance, it was like, whew, what is this? I've been working with the energy of the moon, like I said, for a very long time. I've very attuned to the cycles, and more and more and more so. And there's a woman in the Austin community that is a moon dancer and wanted to open It's a Temescal. That is their sacred purification ritual. It's very similar to a sweat lodge, but held in a different lineage and tradition. And so all of moon dance is held within the lineage of the Machika people. So this is the people from Mexico, the indigenous people of Mexico, and it has roots that go down into the Aztec lineage and traditions. And really what it is it is a ceremony for women to reclaim their wholeness, to put themselves back together. There was a stone that was prophesized that when it was found that the women would begin their ceremonies again. And I believe it was in the 70s. And it is Koyoshakli. It's the goddess of the moon. And she's dismembered. She's like chopped up into pieces. And so we come together as women to put ourselves back together. And it is the framework of it is very similar to Sundance, but it's for women. So it's under the full moon. It's 4 nights of fasting, of the central drum and the prayers, and the temazcals, the sweat lodges, 8 of them during the 4 days. And so it's a really intense prayer. And I feel so deeply grateful and honored that this lineage found me, because it has massively impacted my path. There is so much. I feel like it is where so much of our lineage work comes through. When we come to these lineages that are intact, and we show up and we pray and we open our hearts and we're sweating and we're pushing our limits of what we think we can handle, and we're finding new strength, new resilience, and these connections with women that you see that we're doing the work together, and you see the commonalities that we share, and there's just something incredibly profound about it. And being able to support a community, I think, has been very helpful for me, because it's a monthly thing, and being able to learn. And the woman that I have learned from is very intentional in how she walks with the lineage. She's very careful to offer it from a place of deep integrity. And I have learned a lot about what it looks like to walk in a lineage, because oh gosh, you're trying to get me on this tangent, weren't you, Jenny? Okay.
Go for it. Don't hold back.
Okay, all right. So I, as a person of white and colonial descent, as a person who was not raised in religion, and a person who during high school, the more I learned about the foundation of our country, found that it made me sick to say the Pledge of Allegiance to our country. And I felt so much shame for what my ancestors have been a part of. And coming into this lineage was really confronting to all of that. And I had to look very closely, because they're always like, call your ancestors in. And I'm like, I don't think I want these people in here with us. Not just far back history, but even recent history. Like, these are not healthy people. And what I have realized, because I find myself in these situations and conversations, so I have started to understand people like myself as cultural and spiritual orphans. We are the lost children. Our spiritual home of our ancestors was colonized and eradicated 2,000 years ago, so completely. All of our holidays are now called Christmas and Easter, but like, you look, they all have pagan roots, and they have been distorted into something that I knew when I went to Bible study as a kid and they were trying to baptize me. At 8 years old, I refused. I was like, I am not evil. I cannot see myself as evil. I cannot look at my little baby sister and see her as evil. Like, it never resonated with me. And so I have gone, and what I find is, as these spiritual orphans, we're looking at these intact lineages and being like, this feels like home. This like resonates with me in a way that like makes me feel safe. It gives me a place to explore, a framework that doesn't make me feel shame and fear. And so we're going to these other lineages, the yogic traditions, the indigenous cultures of North America and South America. And we're coming to them because we're lost and we don't have our ancestors, our grandmothers, abuelas, like that are holding the wisdom of our lineage. And so it's been a very interesting journey because there is, you know, for me, I had to process a lot of shame that was being held by my ancestors and by myself as I looked at my ancestors. And through that process, I feel like I'm coming into contact with like my ancient ancestors and a wisdom that lives within me. This is the part of me that knows how to work with the elements. I don't need teachings or a lineage to tell me. It's like it's already a part of me. And I think ultimately that's what all of our work with these lineages is doing, is it's just a remembering of something that's already innate and there for us. And so Moondance has been a huge journey through all of this. And I have a deep love for being very sweaty and dirty, apparently.
You do.
It's so healing. It's so good. And it's so nourishing in this way that I never imagined I would love so much. But there's also this something about like this resilience, you know, in the moon dance, you have 4 rounds at night and you lay down in between. And, you know, by the 3rd night, you haven't slept in a long time and you lay down and like you're falling asleep. But then you hear the words, Yahweh, you got to get back up. And it's time. And it's such symbolic of life, of like laying down, surrendering, just being there, one with the earth. And then it's time to get back up. You have the strength. No matter what's happening, you're going to get back up. And then that drum's going to start and it's just, and then you're alive. And it's like, yes. So like and this is the cycle that I was talking about of like being whole, of knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. That like, yes, there's the energy and the vibrance and the like spring and the flowers and the sunshine and the playing in the water. And then there's also the like coming down and laying down and being low for a minute and coming really inward and connecting with like what is here and what needs to be seen. And I need space and like having grace for that. I myself do this of like, oh, you gotta get up. Like there's things that need to be done. There's always something that needs to be done, right? So the more that we learn that cycle of like surrender, and then know that you have the resilience and the capacity, you're always going to get back up. And you're going to be great. So
Yes.
That is incredible. So how often do you do those moon dance ceremonies?
So I am participate in the one at Mount Shasta because Mount Shasta is a powerful portal and mountain and a big part of my journey. So she really called me there, is what I feel. And so the dances there is once a year, and then I've done 2 years of supporting sisters in another moon dance. So once a year is plenty. And then monthly sweat lodges. And then I'm supporting a friend who opened a lodge as well. So there for a minute, I was doing 2 sweat lodges a month, which is a lot. But I love it. And this is the balance of finding that balance between home and prayer and my journey and our journey and the whole thing. And, it's always a little bit of like finding where that is. Because,
I was blessed and so honored to be able to come to one of those. You invited me to a sweat lodge a few years ago, and it was the first and only time I've done one so far. But I'll tell you, as so listeners can hear it from, I was a newbie. I am still new at this. I don't know. I'm not in your lineage, but I'm so fascinated and curious, and I love to have new experiences. And this was definitely testing limits. You go into this very dark, pitch black place, surrounded by people next to you, in front of you. You have no space. And this fire that just continues to get hot and hotter and hotter. And then the pouring of the water on it and the steam and the prayer and the song. It is so powerful. And just for one moment in the very beginning, when everyone finally got settled and the blackness came and it closed, for one moment I had this ping of, ooh, this is uncomfortable. And then I had to no, I'm okay. It's all good. And then it was just this magic. But I'll tell you, if you're claustrophobic or afraid of the dark, it would not be easy.
I have seen very large, very manly men not make it through the first round because of those things. And it is very confronting to your fears, to your capacity for discomfort. But I mean, I think we spend so much of our life trying to be comfortable, trying to make ourselves comfortable, that we have lost our resilience. We've lost our capacity. And I mean, I would love to think that life is just going to be like one sunny, happy day after the next, but it's not. Things happen, tragedies happen, life gets hard. And the more capacity that we have for that resilience, the more capable we are of enduring, and not just enduring, but alchemizing, of taking that hardship and turning it into something beautiful. Like you said, in the lodge, like at first it's like, oh my gosh, but then you're able to connect to the magic of it, to the beauty of what's unfolding. And it's a really incredible experience. And so this is actually what led me to create this teen program, this rite of passage. I used to literally joke with my friend a few years back. I was like, we need intentional suffering camps for the kids.
They need to feel it.
It's a filter pushes some people, but or lack of filter. And I'm learning to change the language because nobody wants to suffer. Right. And but it's discomfort. Yeah. Our kids are so comfortable. They are so provided for that this is why I think they have so much anxiety and very little capacity to deal with life. So I, through a very tragic loss in my own family of my 17-year-old cousin committing suicide, and then a series of events around me and reality of my son, what's happening in my son's public school and how much kids are struggling, I was like, they need to find resilience. We have to give these kids something that builds their resilience. And so this whole thing started to form. And basically, it's this whole 9-month program kind of oriented to the chakras, and bringing in the community has been so incredibly supportive of this. Like, that is really what gave this life, was the community. I saw a need, I saw a framework, and the community breathed life into it. And at the end of it, basically the kids are going to have a 2-night solo camp out. And so all along the way, they've had to earn items. And I told them, I said, this is like life. when you walk out this door, it's up to you, kid. You know, like, you're about to be a man. The more you show up for yourself, the more that you make your life comfortable for yourself. So every time they show up, they get to choose an item for their camp out. And then they'll spend 2 nights out there in the dark by themselves without a cell phone. And they're going to have to make their own food and tend to their own fears and worries. And yes, we do have adults camped around to ensure safety and all these kinds of things. And they've already been through their first sweat lodge, and then they'll have their final sweat lodge afterwards. And I just know that this is going to create a point of resilience for them, that they can look back and be like, I did that. And because I did that, I can do this right here, right now. Like, I can do hard things. Yeah. And that is what I really want to empower this next generation with. So,
wow.
Yeah.
How are the teens responding to this?
You know, it's, we have a core group, which is, of course, my son and his friends. They're our pilot. I tell them, y'all are our guinea pigs. We're testing this out on you. And I have watched them open up so much to it. It has been beautiful. And not just like, they're into it now. They're like, I'm going to sleep in a hammock. I'm going to do that. You know, like, they've got these ideas, and they're opening more and more to the transmissions that are coming through the community and the teachings and the tools that we're handing to them. And, but what has been unexpected and incredibly beautiful is the way that it has touched the men in the community. And I have every man that comes to one of these, fathers, facilitators, any of this, they're all like, man, I wish I had something like this. Like, they're just like, there's this thing that moves through them. And so we actually have just begun a mentorship to pair the teens with these men in the community, because I think this is multi-generational healing that is happening. We're like reconnecting a very primal and important part of what it is to mature. Like, right now we have a bunch of like teenage ding-dongs leading teenage ding-dongs. They're just like, here you go, guys, like, figure it out with your peers. And where before we had so much apprenticeship, we had guidance, we had, like, in that village context, they were connected to other adults outside their immediate parents. And that's the thing, is once they are teenagers, they don't want to hear what their parents have to say, but they're all ears for what other adults have to say. So creating that opportunity for them to connect to the wisdom of other adults has been really magical and just really amazing. And I'm really excited about this mentor part, and just, the way that it's like bridging this thing that I didn't expect has been pretty incredible. So
it's going to continue to evolve so incredibly. I can't wait to watch all this, because it's been in your heart for a long time, and a lot of downloads have come for you with this whole thing, and you have really taken the leap of faith and put yourself out there in this. And look at the community. The community in Wimberley is so incredible. It is a beacon of light. And you're in the perfect place with the perfect environment. And I can just see this exploding in the best way, because it is needed desperately for these children. Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny. I agree completely. Like, Wimberley is such a magical, like, melting pot of people and perspectives, and just really people with a lot of heart and integrity. And I try not to get too caught up. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I know that it's really needed right now, and that these kids are really open to it. And this is why when you ask me what I'm doing, it's so hard to answer, because what I'm doing is I'm constantly surrendering what I think I'm doing, and then just showing up for what spirit is asking me to do, which is often changing and usually very uncomfortable. So, like, but I just have like this really deep faith in where I'm being guided and how that's meant to show up. Because the truth is that I could have never imagined a lot of these things for myself. And the more that I learn to get out of the way and just show up for what's in front of me, it's way more amazing than what I was going to think of. So, yeah.
What about Reverently Playful?
Okay. So going forward with this, I have spent 4 years covered in mud and sweat and dirt and a lot of tears, a lot of crying, a lot of like processing stuff from my lineage, including immediate the way there's a lot. I chose to incarnate into a bloodline that was carrying a lot of tragedy and hardship. And these containers have given me a safe space to really work through and process that in a way that feels safe and whole. So there was just a lot of years of a lot. It's hard and it's uncomfortable. And so about 2 years ago, I started to be like, there's got to be another way. Like, I don't want to do this work with like flowers and feeling really good and dancing and joy and laughter. And like, I love dancing, It's such a part of like my heart and my path. And so I kind of just had been dreaming into this thing, and I shared it with this woman, and she was like, I have this she shed, and it's just me at my house. It's like this little sanctuary. I would love to host this. So my dear friend Stephanie and I have been doing this. This is our second year. I intend to hold it for 4 years. It's 4 archetypes: the maiden, the mother, the mystic, and the queen. I can't claim crone. I feel that the crone is actually all of it, the ability to hold all these different pieces. So tapping into, and they're aligned with the cross quarters of the wheel. So Imbolc and Beltane and Lagnasad, I never can say that right, and Samhain. And so like connecting us to those cross quarters of the wheel, and really allowing us to dive into these different aspects of what it means to be a woman. And it's so interesting because, like you think, oh yeah, it's fun. We're going to just dress up, because I love dressing up too. And we're going to dress up and we're going to dance around. It's going to be so fun. And it is. And you find the areas that are really uncomfortable, like the maiden. And I always have like, there's this cycle of energy. So either heal, honor, activate, and align. And it's shifting. So each one of the archetypes will receive this like guidance of how we're working with the energy. And healing the maiden, that's a tough one. That's a time period of many women's lives that holds a lot of like hard conditioning, points where we were really not in integrity with ourselves. We didn't know how to hold our boundaries. And so it's like we have a beautiful container. We have a lot of fun, but the work is really deep. And that's what I love, is like, I don't want this just to be this superficial thing. Let's dress up and dance around and pretend we're doing ceremony. Like, this is real embodiment. And I feel like each time we do this, it's kind of like you gain new avatars. So I have found my ability to like dress in these really eccentric, fun ways has expanded so much, because each time I'm like stretching like my capacity. Where do I feel comfortable? How wild can I get in this outfit? Like, how far can I go with this? And still embodying my truth. But like stretching, like how I can express myself, and then finding the ones, for me, the mother and the mystic are like natural. Got those. Like, sure, let's do this. But the queen, like, that was uncomfortable. That would like took a minute. But going through the embodiment, it's like you know, y'all were there for the Alice in Wonderland. You put on that costume and like you become that. And it's amazing. And it's allowing us to reclaim parts of ourselves as women, to confront the parts that we have shamed or shoved away. But we do it in a container that is very nourishing. My friend Stephanie, she's part of what I call mothers of humanity, the women who don't have children and who have dedicated their life to caring for humanity. And so she creates so much nourishment. And a lot of the women that come, we are mothers. And so she feeds us like some of the highest quality, loving food that she pours so much intention in. And her space is just so like nourishing. And so we're nourishing ourselves, we're stretching ourselves, we're witnessing each other, and then we're dancing and we're dressing up, and like just the part of like dressing up together as girls, you know, as women, like helping each other out. It's so fun. I saw this one lady on one of them, and it was like she showed up with nothing, and you could tell she was really challenged. She did not have a very expressive period as a maiden. And so she kind of just was very plain. And then we kept adding and adding and adding and adding. And next thing you know, she's got like this unicorn hoodie and crazy glasses. And then she's all like, she went all primal, and it was just like, she just lit up. And it was amazing. Wow. It was so amazing.
Would you say that like most women don't feel connected to their bodies? And then through these rituals that you see the change and the connection, that they start to find the connection with their bodies and their souls. And
yes, you know, so right now I'm feeling into how to hold this medicine and how to steward it. And so I have noticed that a lot of the women that come to these are already pretty embodied and pretty comfortable with themselves. But there will be a couple who aren't, and I see how it challenges them and how they can overcome it. So my goal is that by the 4th year is to have it as like an intensive, because I think in order for a woman to really move beyond her limits, she needs some space. So there's a lot around spaciousness. Like these events, we were trying to do them in like 5-6 hours, and I was like, Stephanie, we need space. We need space. As women, we need space. Like, we need time to chit chat, and we need time, you know, like we need space to drop into our bodies and feel safe and comfortable in a way that allows us to expand. But I think this is a huge opportunity for women, because what I'm noticing is that there's a lot of women who are not comfortable with costuming, which I find really fascinating, because one, I think there's a little bit of social bias against it, because we have Halloween and costume parties. So it's seen as this very not sacred, like party, you know, debauchery kind of thing, rather than when you look at other cultures, you look at African dance or some of the, I mean, like costumes, like elaborate, wild costumes and masks and all this kind of stuff. Like it is such a sacred practice to clothe yourself in the skin of something other, right?
Yeah.
You're embodying an aspect.
Yeah. And I think, you know, in our culture, that children are permitted to play all the time. My first grader, my son, puts on costumes all week, and it's celebrated and it's cute, you know. But in our culture, we need a reason. We need to be told, okay, you were invited to an adult Halloween party. You were invited to an Alice in Wonderland party. You are allowed to be expressive for this event. Like, you are allowed. And look how many people show up to those events. So we clearly love it, right?
I know,
because
I love
look
it.
how many people show up. And when I say show up, they show up. even brighter than they do if you had a party without costumes, because they're expressing themselves and they're happy.
Right.
So it totally makes so much sense that there would be women that would be coming into that experience more reserved, until they like start to open up. So yeah, and what a beautiful way to let go. Yeah.
Yeah. This idea of reverently playful, like, I think I'm trying to reclaim play, like playful in this way of like, I read this quote, I'm quoting, I guess, from the book Conversations with God. And in it, they say, the more godlike you become, the more childlike you become. When you're happy, you laugh, you sing, you twirl around. When you're angry, you yell. And when you're sad, you cry. And for a child, that is so like accepted. Like, oh, he's upset right now. Let's give him some space and like try and, support this process. But as adults, I feel like there is so much shaming around expressing ourselves, around if I am being playful and I want to sing, like I was telling my son in the car, I was like, buddy, when you grow up, who am I going to sing weird songs with? Like, it's just going to be me and the cat singing about like weird beards. Like, but I am glad that I have retained this connection to this childlike part of me that can be really playful, that cries when I'm sad, that can feel anger and express it. Like I think there's so many things, like I said, these micro missions around like removing the shame around our emotions, reclaiming playfulness as our divine right. Like we're not just here to be on the grind and like, oh, and the only time we play is when we're drunk. Like I stopped drinking it'll be 4 years in February, and it has been such a process of reclaiming the playfulness that is an inherent part of us without having to take in substances to get all the filters and the crap out of the way. And then you're almost like overly expressive. It's not even authentic. It's like, I don't know. It's different. I'm not shaming. Everybody's on their own path, but this is my experience stepping away from alcohol and intentionally reclaiming play.
Yeah.
And I love it.
That's awesome.
I would love for, the listeners to hear this in a way where you might want to think about how you would embody play more in your life, gathering your friends and dressing up, even, just have a theme night at your house, like Alice in Wonderland theme or Queen theme or whatever you feel, and start to play with this yourself, because it does bring out a side of you that you won't even expect.
It's so fun. It is so fun.
Challenge accepted. I'm going to take that challenge.
Good.
Send us pictures, Susie. I want to see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it can't be because of Halloween. Like, I know we're in the month.
No, that's too obvious. No, that's too obvious. No.
Well,
that's cheating.
That's why I'm saying it out loud.
Yeah. Well, we can play a little game here called Rapid Fire Questions to Christina.
Okay.
All right, are you ready?
I guess I am. Yep.
All right. Sunrise or moonlight?
Oh, moonlight.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense for you. Ritual or spontaneous magic?
Oh, they're the same.
Okay. Barefoot or jeweled heels?
Ooh. See, this is the hard part of when you like expand yourself. I'm like, both.
That's your answer. I love it. Favorite scent for grounding?
Vetiver.
What is it?
Vetiver? Am I saying that right? It's a very earthy. It's actually what I wear all the time. I love it.
Ooh. Okay. The archetype you're feeling most right now?
The art type?
Archetype. You're feeling
Archetype.
Archetype.
We'll say mystic.
One song that instantly lifts your energy.
Ugh. It's Agua de Luz, the water of light.
Fire, water, earth, or air.
If you're asking me to choose one, I will say fire.
The last thing that made you laugh.
Oh my gosh. There was something. I can't actually share it here, but
But it was funny, everyone. It was a funny moment.
It was before yoga, and I'm planning with some beautiful women this art of ceremony, teaching women exactly what we've talked about, ritual, all of this. And I shared a ritual that we did on the equinox that was very unusual and funny in some ways. And the yoga teacher couldn't even like look at me without bursting out laughing the whole time. We were all crying because ritual can be fun.
Love it.
So,
okay. Tea, cacao, or wine during ritual.
Oh, cacao for sure.
The word you would use to describe your spirit today.
Effervescent.
Ooh.
Nice.
I like that. That's it makes me feel just like,
Yeah.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. So I have a question. If someone listening wants to be a part of any of the in which you were talking about today, any of the programs, the rituals, the ceremonies, where would they find you and reach out to you? Like if they're like they want to do a moon dance, they want to be a part of this community, they want to try something new.
I would suggest Instagram, Venus on the Horizon. And this is part of my work now is it's time to create some landing pages and some formalities around all of it. So that's the part of the journey I'm undertaking now. But in the meantime, Instagram, Venus on the Horizon.
Okay, and we'll put that in the show notes as well. So if anybody wants to reach out, maybe you have any questions for Christina about her lovely, amazing, fun, spiritual, playful existence. I'm so glad that you shared everything with us today. I'm fascinated. I said that very quickly, right out of the gate, because I was fascinated instantly by the words that you were expressing and about life. And it's so beautiful when there is chaos happening, and then there's this, and that's what we have to remember. This is what we need to focus on.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that. And what I want to say is that this is the alchemy of the chaos. It's taking all the chaos and making it into something beautiful, because we can't stop life from happening. We can't stop the ugliness from existing. It's all about what are we going to do with it? What are we going to make out of it? How are we going to move it through our bodies and share our heart from that place? So, yeah.
Beautiful. Oh,
Fantastic. Love this so much.
Thank you, ladies. This was wonderful.
Thank you so much. We would love to have you back. Your energy is so awesome, and it would be really lovely to have you come and visit us and talk to us more about what's going on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my life and my journey, and just so grateful for you, Jenny. Always. I love you so much. And I love witnessing what you and your sister are doing. I think this is really important because, like I said, first of all, I'm a mother, like this is it. Like we got to learn to be all of these things, to return ourselves to wholeness.
Yes.
And live from that place.
Yes. Oh, love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your wisdom. Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
That you are. Mwah.
Thank you to all of our listeners. We love you so much. We appreciate you. If you want to follow in the show notes, anything that Christina had mentioned, we'll put down there for following her Venus on the Horizon on Instagram. And like and subscribe, and we'll be back.
Yeah. Thank you so much. All is well.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Sister Sessions podcast. If you found inspiration in today's conversation, we'd love it if you shared the episode with your besties, family, or even your favorite neighbors. We'll be back next week with more to share, but until then, remember, meditation is the key to unlocking your inner peace. All is well, friends. See you soon.